is causation of climate change. This research will investigate the level of public awareness about the climate change in Malaysia and also explain how the CO2, carbon dioxide, will become the major contribution in climate change, and also outline the possible source of CO2 in Malaysia. The objective of this research is to investigate the level of public awareness on climate change in Malaysia community and also propose a suitable way to mitigate the climate change issue in Malaysia. The research question is, what is the relationship between the CO2 and climate change, and what is the main cause of CO2 emission in Malaysia, and how the Industry 4.0 can mitigate the climate change. The hypothesis is, first, human activity produce CO2 that has the positive correlation with the occurrence of climate change. Second, transportation, energy generation, and low awareness are the main cause of CO2 emission in Malaysia. And third, Industry 4.0 introduced the technology that can achieve a reduction in emission of CO2.
We have conducted a survey to study the level of awareness on climate change and environmental issues amongst the nation. There are a total of 50 participants in the survey, and 52% of them are students from the age of 16 to 24. 30% are from the age of 35 to 44 years old, and 4% are from 45 to 54 years old, and another 4% are from 55 to 64 years old. Lastly, there's only a small percentage of participants from the age of 65 to 74.
The first step of methodology is brainstorming. Before a study is initiated, a brainstorming is conducted among the group members in order to gather some ideas for the study. Group members are required to think of some relevant climate change questions for the respondent to answer. The second step of methodology is survey and questionnaires. Data collection undergoes digital survey. The objective of the survey is to understand the public awareness on climate change in Malaysia. This survey comprises of quantitative and quantitative questions, and the information respondent provided is highly secure. Next, interview is the third step. After 50 responses are collected, we start to interview our lecturer named Associate Professor Dr. Ahmad Kamil bin Mahmud. Interview session is conducted in order to understand the expertise on factors of climate change in Malaysia and solutions to mitigate the climate change issues. The last step is literature review. After decided the direction of studies, the statistical and the scientific data are needed to be identified through scholarly article. This is to extract useful data to support our research. There will be around 20 journal articles used in our research.
Now I'm going to discuss about the data analysis on Malaysian awareness level towards climate change. The survey revealed that the awareness of the climate change is relatively high, which is 48% among all the participants. Major of the participants are come from a younger age, while there is a low level of concern in this climate change issue in the age range in adult or elder groups. It is important to increase the level of awareness of climate change in each age range. For the students in the age range between 16 to 24, they perceive the knowledge from internet, so social media is a good way to perform the knowledge of awareness in climate change. While the people in the age range between 35 to 44, they perceive the knowledge from internet and newspaper as well, so it is important to promote the online news. While the people in the age range more than 45, they are not adapting any knowledge from the internet or the media social. So it is important to increase the level of the awareness of climate change by implementing in the newspaper. So in conclusion, the level of awareness can be done through different types of media channel and according to various type of age range.
The factors of climate change, as argued by many scientists, and some of them say the climate change is caused by natural factors, while the rest of them stated that climate change is caused by human activities. And in this study, there's no doubt that human activities has caused the climate change. Amini, who conducted a research on climate change, stated that climate change is contributed by human activities which produces greenhouse gas, mainly carbon dioxide, that will trap and absorb heat in the atmosphere and thus causing the global warming. Also, our survey showed that 80% of the Malaysians agree that human activities have a significant impact on climate change and global warming.
In fact, transportation has played a major role in the contribution of CO2 emission in Malaysia. According to the research of Gading Zadeh, there are 180 million metric tons of greenhouse gases emission in Malaysia in 2012. Meanwhile, the transportation industry emission of CO2 index has a drastic increase from around 15 million metric tons in 1990s to 42.43 million metric tons in 2012. Why this will happen? It is because Malaysia government has developed a lot of national projects which has increased the employment opportunity and also lead to a rapid urbanization. Because of the increase in population, people has a greater demand on the transportation service. However, Malaysia government did not provide a well-developed public transportation system. According to the survey that we have conducted, there is 36% of respondents claim that there is a poor public transportation system in Malaysia. Hence, this will stimulate the demand of ownership of vehicle per person. However, the vehicle in Malaysia are mostly using gasoline as fuel, and the engine will discharge a lot of exhaust gas which contain a lot of CO2. This will increase the CO2 emission in Malaysia.
One factor of CO2 emission is energy generation. Gading Zadeh and his researchers, along with Muhammad and Saad, both proven that energy generation contributes to 54.9% of the overall CO2 emission in Malaysia, and this is through fossil fuel combustion. Fossil fuel combustion produces greenhouse gas that continues to thin the ozone layer, and thus more and more infrared radiation from the sun is directly exposed to the earth, which increases the earth's temperature as well as its climate change. As you know, Malaysia is in high demand of energy generation due to the rapid development of its country as well as the advancement in technology. The advancement in technology requires a high need of energy consumption. Thus, energy generation contributes to the CO2 emission here in Malaysia.
Climate change has become one of the global concerns because of the impacts that it brings to the environment and to the human system. One of the impacts that hits Malaysia is flood. According to our survey, 38% of people has experienced flood damage in the last 5 years. On top of that, more than half of our participants in the survey has agreed that recent flood is due to climate change. These results have showed us the Malaysians are aware of the increased occurrence of flood in Malaysia.
After discussing the factor of climate change, the solution in mitigating climate change can be narrowed down to solve the impact that brought by the transportation, energy generation, and also the low awareness. Implementation of electric vehicle EV is suitable to use to solve the CO2 emission by the transportation. Electric vehicle is a trustworthy option to use to mitigate the CO2 emission is because it is flexible to use electricity or crude oil to sustain its operation. By this way, the sustainability and the functionality of the vehicle can be ensured and the mitigation of climate change can be achieved as well. However, when the number of electric vehicles is increased, the electricity demand will increase as well. And you might ask, what if the electricity demand increase? It will cause the energy demand increase as well. So, the process of burning fossil fuel will become more frequent and the CO2 emission could not be mitigated. But don't worry, electric vehicle has the smart charging features which can gain the power from renewable energy. So, you might ask, what is a renewable energy? Renewable energy is a green energy that does not produce any harmful substance when it is generating the power. By this way, the conventional electricity generation approach, such as burning fossil fuel, will be reduced sharply, and the emission of CO2 will be reduced as well because of the vehicle does not produce any exhaust gas that contains CO2. Hence, government plays a vital role in implementing the electric vehicles in Malaysia. According to the survey, 72% of the respondents agree that government should provide an incentive to the people who look for the environment, which means that the government has a responsibility in encouraging individuals or business to sustain the environment. For example, government can invest on the company who produce the electric vehicles. Next, 64% of the respondents in the survey think that Malaysia government is not doing enough to tackle the climate change. So, Malaysia government should be more actively promote the use of electric vehicle and also adjust the tax on the vehicle in order to let more people able to afford the electric vehicle.
One of the solutions is Industry 4.0. Industry 4.0 is a concept that heavily focuses on automation, interconnection, and artificial intelligence features in the industry, especially manufacturing. As you know, Industry 4.0 ensures high energy efficiency due to the interconnection and automation in the factories. Industry 4.0 also helps to mitigate the emission of CO2 by introducing the use of renewable energy. According to Meng and his fellow researchers, sustainable manufacturing, which is one of the initiatives of Industry 4.0, is aiming to change conventional industry model to the sustainable industry model. With this way, the industry is no more using such a huge amount of energy after introducing Industry 4.0, because the energy sources can be substituted by renewable energy, such as solar energy. Thus, energy generation will be reduced sharply.
Moreover, the level of awareness needs to be improved in order to curb the climate change. Thus, the solution to resolve this problem is to disseminate the information regarding the climate change in the society. The channels should be used in order to disseminate information about the climate change can be categorized into three types according to three major age groups. First of all, regarding the information, students nowadays are using a lot of social media such as Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. The social media can be an effective platform to propagate the cause and the effect of the climate change, which can be result in the raise the level of awareness regarding climate change. Another effective ways to raise awareness among students is to conduct the awareness campaign or project in school. School campaign and project can be involved all the students to join the campaign and managed by the school authority, which can ensure the project runs well and continuously among students. For the group in the adult age from 35 to 44, mostly they had their jobs, so the school campaign and project will not be effective for them. From the survey, the newspaper is also highly preferred by the adults as well as the internet. By combining these two channels, online news is generated and suggested. This is because the adults working in the office will not have the time to read the physical newspaper. Reading news online on the phone can be more convenient as they can perceive the knowledge from the topic, which is the climate change. The cause and the effect of the climate change can be published on the online news, which can raise the awareness of the adult. Another thing is the newspaper and television are preferred the channels of the group of people in the age of 45 and above. The TV broadcast should play the program regarding the environment, climate change, and also the news about the phenomenon of the weather changing nowadays. Different media and approaches should be implemented in order to ensure the society level of awareness. The use of the electric vehicle should be encouraged in order to decrease the carbon dioxide emission in road transportation. Moreover, the industry of 4.0 should be implemented by private and public sector, especially the manufacturing industry, in order to effectively reduce the energy consumption, which can enable the reduction in energy generation in future.
This research has potential limitation in terms of sample size, variety of respondents, survey questions, and also data analysis. Besides that, the survey is not diversified the group of people. 52% of respondents are students is due to the survey is made only available in digital form, where adults and elders are not familiar with this technology. In this case, we should implement a paper form survey to outreach more other groups of people, and our result can be more comprehensive. Next, survey questions is not ideal as it did not straightforwardly ask about the factors of climate change, but depending on the analysis from other potential questions. Through this, the results accuracy is affected. Therefore, we should ask more straightforward questions regarding the factors of climate change, as the research is about the consequences of climate change. Lastly, the data analysis part in this research, the solution suggested is not proved by any scientific formula. The findings are only supported by literature but not an approach that can be calculated to show the effectiveness in the numerical statistic. The solution for this limitation is that we should develop an equations that allow researchers in future can examine the effectiveness of their findings.